Welcome to Leave It Late FC. If you didn't know, Arsenal won yesterday in added time, scoring 2 goals to beat Leicester City. The Foxes did come back and make it from a 2-goal deficit and make it 2-2 against the Arsenal. But today, we're going to be dissecting how Arsenal managed to win and also the key points within the game. Now, I think it's also fair to show, obviously, the contentious points, because, for example, Calafiori probably could have, on another day, been sent off for 2 yellow card offences. For me, I wouldn't have had any complaints if he did get sent off for those 2 fouls, but I think that the second yellow card offence on Buonanotte was a little bit cheap, a little bit soft. The first talking point of the game was the goal. In the build-up, Saliba slightly tugs back Jamie Vardy. For me, it's not enough to be a foul. Jamie Vardy sort of leans into it. Obviously, to Jamie Vardy's disgruntlement, he does, in fact, start complaining and making a pig's ear of it to the referee. Luckily, the goal wasn't disallowed. Then, the next phase of play, we're down the right-hand side with Bukayo Saka. Timber is on his overlap and cuts through with some pace, catches through, and Saka plays an inverted pass down the line. Now, it's a move we've seen Ben White do it quite a lot of times, but what I will say is there's a difference in the running style between Timber and Ben White. Ben White usually makes a more curved run around the outside. Timber's was a very direct, straight run. Also, what I will say is it is noticeable the pace difference between the two. Obviously, Ben White is built to be a centre-back who's playing right-back. Timber, more agile probably. His delivery, I think, is a bit better, although Ben White obviously offers you more in terms of physicality. So then, coincidentally, Timber gets the ball through from the right wing on the ground, across the box, and Martinelli, scuff shot, but taps home. Just 2 minutes before that, Martinelli also did miss a one-on-one sitter, basically. But I'm so happy for Gabby Martinelli. He's finally back on the score sheet, and you could see in the celebration how much that meant to him. The Gunners did go 2 goals up in this game just before half-time with a ball from Martinelli, getting a goal and assist, which is positive, playing it across, and Trossard put it into the bottom right-hand corner. He opened his body up. Great finish. And you thought, whoa, this could be a tricky good day for Leicester City. Obviously, they haven't won yet this season. But then just after half-time, Leicester turned it around. They came out really well. They went to cross in from a free kick conceded by William Saliba, who got a yellow card. And it was interesting, that left half space. I can't really read too much into the goalkeeping or anything here. The only thing I will say is that it seemed like the goal scorer, James Justin, was unmarked. He did get the header off, and it took a big deflection off Havertz, which is why I can't really read too much into David Raya's positioning. He was wrong-footed. He was going for the original attempt. And unfortunately, Leicester City did score the goal. Then, in the second half, later on, about 10 minutes later, the ball comes across again from that left-hand side, which could be an issue, having multiple crosses coming in from the left-hand side and not dealing with it. And there's an overload on that side, so we all shift over. Calafiori, if you watch him, actually does take a look over his shoulder, so he does know that James Justin's there, but I think he must be more concentrated on the centrepiece. And it comes out to James Justin on the cross. He volleys it into the bottom left corner. Phenomenal strike. Can't take anything away from the goal. And it's 2-2, and you're looking like, oh no, Arsenal could have blown this. What I will also say, interestingly, which will be in the next point, from set pieces, we kept going to the back stick today. It weren't a case of aiming for Gabriel running in. It was a case of literally we would just chuck it into the back post. So I think that must be something that Nicolas Jova has identified in terms of Leicester's frailties from set pieces, maybe. Now, Arsenal scored 2 goals in added time to win the game. And as you'll see here, the corner setup from Saka's delivery is Trossard round the back post. Now, we kept aiming for that back post every single time on corners. So, as I said, it must be something that's a defensive frailty for Leicester City. But luckily, it comes out to Trossard. He takes it down and tries to have a cross to put it into the mixer. And indeed, he converts it into his own net. Now, it's unfortunate, obviously, to score an own goal. You can always sympathise with a player there. But we got the job done. And Trossard obviously went off celebrating. The Emirates went into Raptors. Brilliant bit of play. But I do think we have identified that area to play the corner in against Leicester City, specifically. Then, later in the game, we have an attack down the right-hand side with Gabriel Jesus. And this is where I think that if he was confident or maybe just slightly more clinical, he probably would have managed to finish the chance, convert the chance. He also could have just played the pass to the left, but Jesus nevertheless goes for the shot, and the keeper saves it. It goes to the defender. The defender tries to clear it, but passes it into Havertz's path. Havertz converts it. It's wrongfully disallowed at first for offside because, as you'll see on the screenshot, the Leicester player does pass it to Havertz. But luckily, that gets overruled. And Arsenal come home with 3 points and a 4-2 victory in a game that looked a lot harder. That was a lot harder than the scoreline suggests. But we moved to the same points as City. And that's all that matters. So, thank goodness for that. It was a worry at times. We did look like, at times, we could drop points here. And Leicester were a good opposition in the end. At 2-0, you expect that Arsenal should and probably will and could have been kicking yourselves because they should have tied it up. But at the end of the day, Leicester fought back. This is the Premier League for you. And it's a good game. Very good game indeed. I hope you've enjoyed. Please be sure to like and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.